Dear students, in this video we are going to learn about the iterative methods for solving linear system of equations. So the method we are going to discuss here is the Jacobi method. So in the Jacobi method, let us see this is the system of three equations, and these are linear equations. So we call them linear because the power of the variables is 1. x1, x2, x3 are the variables, and to solve for these three variables x1, x2, x3, we are given three equations, and the power of each of the variables, x1 power is 1, x2 power is 1, and x3 power is 1. Therefore, this system of equations are, we call them the linear system of equations. And to solve this linear system of equations, the first method we do is a Jacobi method. We learn how to apply this method. And to apply this Jacobi method, first we have to see that the system of equations, the given system of equations is diagonally dominant. So the meaning of diagonally dominant is this diagonal element in modulus, the absolute value of this element, diagonal element, is greater than or equal to other elements in the same row. So the coefficients you have to look at. If you write the matrix form of this system of equations, the coefficient matrix will be A11, A12, A13, A21, A22, A23, A31, A32, A33. This is the coefficient matrix. And the diagonal elements are A11, and the second diagonal element A22, and the third diagonal element A33. So the definition of diagonally dominant is the diagonal element in absolute value is greater than or equal to the other elements in the row, the coefficients. That means modulus of A11 greater than or equal to modulus of A12 and modulus of A13. That I have written here. Similarly, in the second equation, the diagonal element is A22. So the modulus of this, the absolute value of A22, must be greater than or equal to the absolute value of A21 and A23. That I have written here. Absolute value modulus of A22 greater than or equal to modulus of A21 and modulus of A23. And in the third equation, again the diagonal element, A33 is the diagonal element. So the absolute value of this modulus of A33 should be greater than or equal to modulus of A31 and modulus of A32. That I have written here. So if these conditions are satisfied, we call this system is diagonally dominant. So to apply this Jacobi method of solving this linear system of equations, the first condition is the system should be diagonally dominant. Now once the system is diagonally dominant, in this method we rewrite the given equations to make it diagonally dominant first. If the given system of equations is not diagonally dominant, so if the system is not diagonally dominant, we have to arrange them, okay, rewrite the equations so that the system will be diagonally dominant. We will see that in the example how we make it diagonally dominant if it is not diagonally dominant. Now after making the system diagonally dominant, what we have to do is from the first equation you have to solve for the variable x1. If we look at the equation, the first equations, from this if we solve for x1 can be obtained by taking these two x2, x3 terms, the other side of the equation, the right hand side of the equation. Therefore, x1 will be equal to b1 minus a12 x2 minus a13 x3 division a11. So from the first equation, we have to solve for x1. That is this. Now from the second equation you have to solve for x2. So x2 is equal to, taking x1 and x3 terms the right hand side to this side, you will be getting x2 is equal to b2 minus a21x1 minus a23x3 division a22. So that I have written here x2 this. And similarly from the third equation we have to solve for x3. So write an equation for x3 from the third equation. So x3 is equal to, take this x1 and x2 terms the other side to the right hand side. x3 will be equal to b3 minus a31x1 minus a32x2 division a33. So that is this equation. So after writing this x1, x2, x3, we have to put k here and here k minus 1, k minus 1. So we will see what is the meaning of this one. If we want the kth approximation of x1, we have to use k minus 1th approximation of x2 and x3. That is the previous approximations. Similarly, if you want to find kth approximation of x2, we have to use the previous approximations of x1 and x3. Similarly, if you want kth approximation of x3, we have to use the previous approximations of x1 and x2. For example, if k is 1, that is first approximation of x1 if we need. If k is 1, k minus 1 will be 0, and here k minus 1 will be 0. Therefore, the initial, 0 means initial. So we use initial approximations of x2 and x3 to get first approximation of x1. Similarly, first approximation of x2, if we put k equal to 1 here, we will be getting here 0 and here also 0. So the 0th approximations of x1 and x3 are used to get first approximation of x2. Similarly, if we want first approximation of x3, we have to use 0th approximation of x1 and x2. So from this, what you understand, for each approximation, we have to make use of the previous approximations. If you want x1 first approximation, we have to use 0th, that is initial approximations of x2 and x3, and the same way for x2 and x3. So there are three unknowns here, x1, x2, x3. Now let us see an example for this. Solve the following system of equations by Jacobi method and perform 2 iterations. And the system of equations given is these equations. There are 4 equations and we have to solve for 4 unknowns, x1, x2, x3, x4. But in the first equation, x4 term is missing. That means the coefficient of x4 is 0. Therefore, it is missing. But in other equations, we have second and third, all the 4 variables. And in the fourth equation, x1 is missing. That is, the coefficient of x1 is 0. So altogether, there are 4 equations and there are 4 unknowns, x1, x2, x3, x4. And the initial approximation is given. Yeah. So the initial approximations of x1, x2, x3 is 0, 0, 0. There are only 3 zeros written here. You must be taking 4 zeros. In fact, I will write here. So it should be another 0 here and after that. So the vector will be having 4 zeros because here also we can take x4. Zero in bracket. So this is missed here. You have to put 4 zeros. because there are 4 values you have to find. I'm adding that 0 here. Okay, so the initial values of these x1, x2, x3 are given as 0, 0, 0, 0. That means x1 initial approximation 0, x2 initial approximation 0, x3 0, x4 is also 0. So that is the vector x in brackets 0. This brackets 0 and brackets indicates the 0th approximation or the initial approximation. So initial approximation of all these values. So this x vector has 4 values x1, x2, x3, x4. All the 4 values initially are zeros. So this 0 in brackets indicates the initial approximation. So initial approximation of all these 4 values are given to be zeros. So using them, we have to find the approximations for x1, x2, x3, x4, and we have to perform 2 iterations. That means first approximation, after that second approximation. So in this Jacobi method, what we are doing is first we have to see that the system is diagonally dominant or not. So to check it is diagonally dominant, the condition is that the diagonal element in absolute value must be greater than or equal to other elements. Okay, the coefficients, not the right hand side, the coefficients in absolute value. So here the diagonal element is 10, which is greater than or equal to absolute value of this coefficient minus 1 and 2. So 10 is definitely greater than or equal to modulus of minus 1 and 2. Therefore, this equation, first equation is okay. And the second equation, this is the diagonal element. Again, diagonal element is greater than or equal to other elements, other coefficients in absolute value. Here the coefficient is minus 1, here the coefficient minus 1, here coefficient is 3. And if you take absolute value modulus, 11 is greater than or equal to the other coefficients in modulus. Similarly, in the third equation, this is the diagonal element. 10 is greater than or equal to other coefficients 2, minus 1 and minus 4. And similarly, in the last equation, this is the diagonal element. This is greater than or equal to other coefficients in absolute value. Here 3, here minus 1. So this system is diagonally dominant. Already the given is diagonally dominant. Now from the first equation, you have to solve for x1, as we have seen before in the Jacobi method. From the first equation, you have to solve for x1. So if you solve for x1, take x2, x3 terms other side and divide by 10. So x1 is equal to 1 over 10 times 6 plus x2 minus 2x3. So I have taken x2, x3 terms other side, right hand side, and then divide by 10. That will give you x1 value. And we have to put k here in the brackets, and here k minus 1, k minus 1. That means if we want kth approximation, we have to use the previous approximations, k minus 1, k minus 1. And similarly, from the second equation, we solve for x2. So the x2 will be obtained by taking x1, x3, x4 terms to the right hand side and then divide by 11. Therefore, x2 is equal to 1 over 11 times 25 plus x1 plus x3 minus 3x4 that I have written. After that, you have to divide by 11 to get x2. So we got the value of x2 from the second equation. So we solve for x2 from the second equation. And we write k in brackets here, and here k minus 1, k minus 1, k minus 1. The same way, from the third equation, we solve for x3. So x3 is equal to 1 over 10 times minus 11 minus 2x1 plus x2 plus x4. If we take x1, x2, x4 terms to the other side, to the right hand side, and then divide by 10, you will be getting x3. And similarly, from the last equation, we have to solve for x4. So x4 is equal to 15 minus 3x2 plus x3. If we take these two terms to the right hand side and then divide by 8. So x4 is this. Now we have to go for first approximation. That means when k equal to 1, put k equal to 1 in all these. If we put k equal to 1, k minus 1 will be 0. Here k minus 1 will be 0. That means we have to use the 0th approximations of x2 and x3 to get first approximation of x1. So let me repeat again. If k equal to 1, that is first approximation of x1 is obtained by taking here when k is 1, k minus 1 will be 0 and here it is 0. That means 0th approximations, initial approximations of x2 and x3 are used to get first approximation of x1. Similarly, in other cases, if we want first approximation of x2, we have to use 0th approximations of x1, x3, x4. Similarly, if you want first approximation of x3, the previous, that is 0th approximation. Similarly for x4. So we will write that one here. x1 1 by taking k equal to 1, x1 1 equal to 1 over 10, 6 plus x2 0 minus 2x3 0. And we have given already the initial approximations of these values. Here it is given. Initial approximations, 0th approximations of x1, x2, x3, x4. All the four are given to be zeros. We will use those values. x2 0 is 0, x3 0 is 0. So we are left with 1 by 10 times 6 plus 0 minus 0. Only 6 is left. These two are zeros. If we simplify, we will be getting 0.6. So that is the first approximation of x1. Similarly, from the second equation, if you want first approximation of x2 equal to just the previous, we are using this equation, x2 of 1, k equal to 1. So if we put here 1 over 11, 25 plus x1 0, x3 0, minus 3x4 0. So 0th approximations we use to get x2. So x2 1 is equal to 1 over 11 plus 25, and all these values initially, these values are given to be zeros. So you will be getting 25 over 11. Similarly, first approximation of x3 is 1 over 10 times minus 11, and these three values initially are given to be zeros. Therefore, we will get minus 11 over 10. And the last one, x4 first approximation, is obtained by taking 1 over 8 times 15 minus initial approximation of x2 and x3. So these initial, 0 means initial. Initial approximations of x2 and x3 are given to be zeros. Therefore, you will be getting 15 over 8. Thus, we got first approximations of all these x1, x2, x3, x4. First approximation of x1 is 0.6. First approximation of x2 is 25 over 11. First approximation of x3 minus 10 over 10. First approximation of x4 15 over 8. So once you have the first approximations, we can go for the second approximations, that is k equal to 2. So when k equal to 2, if we put k equal to 2 in the equation, if we put k equal to 2, here k minus 1 will be 1. That means when we are finding second approximation, we will use the first approximation values. Okay, when k equal to, so here it will be 1, here it will be 1, k minus 1 will be 1. Similarly, all. So when k is 2, k minus 1 will be 1. So by putting k equal to 2, we will be getting second approximation of x1 is equal to 1 over 10 times 6 plus x2 1, that is first approximation of value of x2, minus 2x3 1. Now we have to put these values, first approximation values of x2 and x3. We have seen first approximation of value of x21 is 25/11. So we put that value, we keep that value here, we substitute x21 is 25/11. Next x31 we got minus 11/10. We substitute that value here, and if we simplify you are getting 1.0472727. Similarly, we go for second approximation of x2. x22 equal to 1/11, 25 plus x11, x31 minus 3, x41. So for x11 and x31, x41, we look at the first approximations here. x2, x11, x31, x41. So we substitute these values to get x22. So to get x22, we use the first approximation values of x1, x3 and x4. If we substitute here and simplify, we'll be getting this value. The same way we find the second approximation of x3 by using first approximation values of x1, x2 and x4. You substitute and simplify, we'll be getting this. The last one, second approximation of x4. x4 2 in brackets gives second approximation of x4 is obtained using first approximation values of x2 and x3. So you substitute the first approximation values here, x2 value and x3 value. If we substitute here and simplify, you are getting this. Thus we got the second approximate values of all x1, x2, x3, x4. So you can write these as some vectors. So capital X1, that is the first approximation values of all these x1, x2, x3, x4. I am writing all these four unknowns as a vector capital X. So capital X in brackets 1 means first approximation of all these values. We have seen the first approximation values are 0.6, 25/11, minus 11/10, 25/8. So I kept all these as a column matrix, and I call that one first approximation of the text. Capital X is all the unknowns x1, x2, x3, x4. Similarly, you can write x2, that is second approximation of all these values. You can write these values. This is x1 value in the second approximation, x2 value, x3 value and x4 value. Using that, you can write the matrix, the capital X to second approximation of all these values. We can write as a column vector. Now, in this problem, we are asked to find two approximations, two iterations. So, two iterations. So, we did two iterations, first approximation and second approximations. But sometimes they may even ask this way: iterate with tolerance 10⁻⁻⁴ in the L infinity norm. So in the previous lectures we have seen the definition of L infinity norm. So here the tolerance is TOL is tolerance. Tolerance is given as 10⁻⁴. You have to iterate until you get the tolerance 10⁻⁵ in the L infinity norm. So L infinity norm is nothing but the difference between, we find the meaning of this is tolerance 10⁻⁻⁴ in the L infinity norm means we have to iterate until you get the L infinity norm. This is the L infinity norm. L infinity norm of xm minus xm minus 1 is less than 10⁻⁴. You know, xm is the mth approximation of the x, and m minus 1, xm minus 1 is the m minus 1th approximation. That means difference between two approximations, and find the L infinity norm of that one. So if that is less than 10⁻⁴, you have to stop here. Here in the previous example, we got x1 and x2. x2 is the second approximate values. Now we have to find the difference of these two, x1 and x2, that is x2 minus x1. Here m is 2, then m minus 1 will be 1, so x2 minus x1. After getting x2 minus x1, find the L infinity norm. We learned before what is L infinity norm. L infinity norm of that vector. If that is less than 10 power minus 4, you can stop here. If that is not less than 10 power minus 4, you have to go for the next approximation. So the next approximation will be third. So you can write, if I can write, you have to find x3. Okay, so this is the 3 in brackets x3. x3 is the third approximation of those values x1, x2, x3, x4. We have 4 unknowns. Find the third approximation of those 4 unknowns. You write in that matrix, the column matrix, we call it as x3. Then again find the difference between x3 and x2. Here when m is 3, this will be x3 and this is x2. Difference between x3 and x2, and you find the L infinity norm of that. If that is less than 10 power minus 4, you can stop there. So you have to continue finding the approximations until the L infinity norm of xm minus 1. That is the difference between two successive approximations, and the L infinity norm of that is less than 10 power minus 4, then you can stop. So this is the end of this video, and this method we call it as the Jacobi method of solving linear system of equations. So in this linear system of equations, by this Jacobi method, each value of kth approximation is obtained by using the k minus 1th approximation of other variables. That means if we want first approximation, we have to use 0th approximation values, that is initial. If you want second approximation of x1, you have to use the first approximation values. If you want third approximation of x1, you have to use second approximate values. So this method we call it as the Jacobi method, and this is the end of this video.